Hello everyone, welcome to Fiaura. And for those who don't know, at the end of the last replay, the very end of the video, that's right, you have to stay till the very last moments, I will announce the next tank I'm reviewing, just like I did the last time. So it pays to not check out early, doesn't it? And today we are looking at the Type 985-2 main battle tank from China, in comparison to all of its brothers and sisters in the Tier 6 lineup. So let's go have a look-see. We got an MBT 70 here. Yep. We got that. Do we have any? Yeah, we have an XM1 over here. And that's the end of the Tier 6 lineup. And over this way, we have a Leopard 2 AV. Cha-ching. I don't want to do the ice because the ice is not the one I drive. I actually drive the regular Leopard 2 AV. So let's start with the Leopard 2 AV versus Germany versus Chinese engineering. So the Chinese tank has better penetration, higher alpha damage, but a lower damage per minute. Surprise! And a significantly slower reload. Higher caliber gun. What do you expect? It barely has less hit points than the Leopard 2 AV, but it's about 60 or a single AFV shot. It has better thickness on its frontal armor, though not as well sloped. It has better thickness on its side armor, but with the thinner side skirts, so the unlisted armor on the Leopard 2 AV is actually greater. It has a worse turret composition, but it's not vulnerable to shaped charges like the Leopard 2 AV's turret. Something to remember there. Shaped charge rounds will penetrate the Leopard 2 AV's turret. They won't penetrate the Tier 6 Chinese tank very well. At least from the front. You're still going to hit a weak spot. It is slower, both in acceleration and top speed, as well as hull traverse. But it tries to make up for this with a better camouflage rating. They have the same view range, however, which means the Leopard 2 AV sitting still will spot the Type 85-2. If both tanks are moving, the Type 85-2 will see you first. If the Type 85-2 is sitting still, it will spot the Leopard 2 AV first. It has worse gun depression, worse accuracy, but a quicker aim time. It actually has the fastest aim time of any Tier 6 tank, which is its true advantage. Against the XM1, once again, higher damage, higher pen, lower damage per minute, longer reload. It has more hit points than the XM1. What? It has better armor thickness, but the composite isn't nearly as good, particularly against the shaped charges. The XM1's composite is exceptional. The turret is, again, thicker, but again, not as good a composite. So to illustrate what happens here, let's take a look at the two tanks in their respective review trees. So over here we can see the armor of the Type 85-2. Effective armor is 416 and 390. XM1 is 380 and 395. So the XM1 in fact has thicker effective turret armor. And its turret is, by the way, significantly better sloped. In addition to this, the XM1 has a higher top speed, supposedly a higher acceleration, but it has horrific ground resistance. The two are nearly tied in terms of hull traverse, and the ground resistance is absolutely ridiculous. The advantage here being, of course, the XM1 can continue to improve that reload rate because it has a manual loader. Type 85-2 is an automatic loading system. Your reload rate is fixed. Again, camouflage and view range kind of cancel each other out. Basically, whichever tank is sitting still or moving slower will see the other one first. Worse gun depression, but better off the rear. Worse accuracy, but still better aim time. And turret traverse, the XM1 does win, but you still have the best aim time here. Against the MBT-70, the Might of America, you actually have worse alpha and penetration, but a higher damage per minute. You're not the worst GPM or the worst reload. You have better armor, just flat out better armor. In terms of thickness, in terms of shaping, your armor is kind of worse. Significantly worse in terms of armor shaping and sloping. You were slower to accelerate. You were definitely slower on the whole traverse, and you definitely have the worst ground resistance, no questions asked. But you do have a much better camouflage, and you are not blind as a bat. You will, in almost every circumstance, outspot the MBT-70. You also have better accuracy, almost the same gun depression, and better aim time, with the near exact duplicate turret traverse speed. So you're in almost every way better than an MBT-70, except for the shape of your armor and the sheer alpha damage and penetration. Against the T-72A, you have, well, you're not going to win in a damage fight against the T-72A. You have the same reload. He has a significantly higher damage and penetration than you. But you do have a lot more hit points and much better armor, both in shaping, composition, basically just period. You have a better armor diagram than the T-72A. The only thing the T-72A has over you is it does get explosive reactive armor package on it. You two have almost identical hull traverse. You have the same acceleration speed. The T-72 goes a wee little bit faster. T-72 has a slightly better camouflage rating, but it trades that camouflage rating for 30 less view range. Which, at the end of the day, means you outspot the T-72A in all circumstances except for him sitting still behind a bush. The Type 85-2 has better gun depression. They have the same accuracy, but you have such a better, aim time, you win. The peaky pokey match, you will win because you aim faster. You will almost always fire faster than other MBTs because you aim so bloody quick. You do have a worse turret traverse, by the way, a significantly worse turret traverse, but that's something you can deal with. Weak spot identification! This driver's hatchback here, these two ports. This gunner's port can be penetrated with a direct hit. It's barely a few pixels big. This hatch up here can be penetrated for... The hatch itself is partial damage, but this structure down here can actually take full damage sometimes. This side over here is a useless penetration point. You can shoot it all you want. You won't do any damage. Down here, this area on this side of the lower plate and this area on this side of the lower plate are particularly weak. The center lower plate, however, is strong, and it does not take much of an angle in order to shoot into the side armor, so be very wary of that. Back here on the turret, sabot rounds about where the cage armor starts are easy enough to penetrate the side of the turret. Rear of the turret is absolute butter. Engine deck is huge and can easily be seen from above the tank, so if you can see that engine deck, aim for it. It's an automatic critical hit every time. Top of the turret wise, if you can hit behind this hump, which if you're looking at it from this angle, you can definitely make out where the hump is if you have any form of depth perception. If you can aim behind this hump, which is basically directly behind the commander's hatch area, you will penetrate because it's a very thin area on the back of the turret. Counts as rear turret armor back there. And lastly, the rear is as expected, complete and utter butter. So, recommended crew. I actually don't recommend Freya for this one. I don't have him trained up, but I kind of would recommend Sauna here. Because you only have heat and sabot rounds, and having all of this extra fire and explosive capability, you will make tanks consistently burn. Or, if you really want, you can go with Victor here to get an increase in rate of fire every time that you bounce a shot from your powerful gun. And when you do module damage, you will automatically... when you get an overmatch, by the way, since you only have heat and sabot, and therefore you will likely be spamming a lot of sabot, you do a lot more module damage. Plus, you can increase the already a fantastic aim time to stupid. Crew-wise, increase the smooth ride to make it where you can shoot on the move, and then down here we get quick draw as the first gunner skill because your already incredible aim time needs to be even quicker. Next, I would highly recommend do the twist to compensate for your poor turret, as well as spin it to win it, or off-road driving. Your choice! Whether you want to accelerate faster or you want to actually have the hull traverse quicker. Up to you. Standard consumable loadout. I recommend 32 sabot and 14 heat. You can go with your own recommendation, but try to keep at least 28 sabot rounds. You do not have high explosive in this tank, something you have to get used to, so low hit point vehicles you still have to penetrate, which is why I recommend the significant amount of sabot. Standard consumable loadout. As far as retrofits go, increase your already fantastic aim time, and it gives a slight rate of fire boost, but the primary thing is aim time, though I would also recommend you may want to look at the magnetic actuator to increase your alpha instead. The hull upgrade is just hull reinforcement. There's no module on this tank in particular that gets damaged very often, so just reinforce the hull. Chrome barrel lining to increase your accuracy and increase your damage, and the air induction cleaner to try to compensate for some of your very poor hull traverse and your slow acceleration speed is highly recommended. So, now that we've gone over all of the recommendations, I have a review game for you. Yeah, it's a review game for you. Type 85-2M. Fiaura's driving a main battle tank, and she did well. Everybody panic. Seriously, panic! Now, we are driving through here. I'm speeding this up to get us up to the point where we need to be. It's right about here. I make the faithful decision to cut off and get out of the open. Not that there are any AFVs that can really spot us, but I know that, I've got a platoon of very well armed 125 millimeter wielding main battle tanks with me in the form of another T-72A and a Type 85-2M as well. We should push until we get contact. And something you need to learn to do, main battle tank drivers, is go until you meet contact. Like, I slowed down there to make sure my platoon was formed up and we were ready to go. And I'm covering their flank at the moment for a little bit, see if that WZ wants to pop out. When we spot the T-72, I start moving. You really need to also avoid these oil things here because they will set stuff on. They will let people know you're coming. T-72 has taken a good hit. Now I'm ordering our platoon forward. We haven't really encountered the enemy. We haven't encountered a lot of resistance. We're going to see if we can swarm down this 72A and then move on. When I spot a wild WZ off to my side. Turn to face. Shore takes the hit. I deliver a slap. And the T-72 gets the wild notion to come around this way and engage me. And I end up taking multiple hits because my platoon mate is not moving forward to continue the engagement. Take care of that thing. Off to the left. Have my other platoon mate pull up and try to help. This T-72 is doing a very good job of protecting himself. And I'm putting all the pressure I can in. I stop here though. I recognize I'm a main battle tank and I'm blind. And that there's only so much main battle tank you can fit in one spot. So Hetty and I elect to go around the other direction. Meanwhile, our Leopard 185 has graciously given himself over to this T-72A in front of us. And I see a chieftain. Now remember that quick aim time? Yeah. Yeah, you fired really quick. And I see that Hetty got destroyed here, so I'm kind of keeping my head down. At least for the time being. So I turn back around and head over here because Short has been abandoned by our T-72 random teammate and is reacting very poorly to what's going on in front of him. So I decide, you know what, I'm going to handle this. I take a look at the arty, don't have a shot. I do have a shot at the chieftain who ricochets that stupidly thick frontal armor. And I recognize when there's a lot of guns shooting at me. Quick aim time says, not going to shoot today. Again, it has an incredibly quick aim time, but I'm hesitant on some of these shots. Short comes around behind the T-72A and misses his shot at the guy's rear. And I, of course, blow my shot there. Don't have enhanced shell materials, Fiaura. Finally, we can advance. I see the M109 at extreme range and take the shot. I miss, but I could take the shot, and that's the important thing to highlight here. I could actually shoot at it, which for a Bagel Panzer in its face, for me to be able to shoot at it is ridiculously quick on that aim shot. Now here I am moving in. I am like, fuck it, no fear. My platoon mates are dead because they got sniped from the ridge, but as far as I'm concerned, I'm waiting on this T-72 who's taken no damage to advance. Come on, guy. Show some balls. You haven't taken any hits for anybody yet. Now, I like to go around this way because it's faster. I'm not driving through the water more of the time. As you can see, I'm gaining on the T-72. And now I'm actually going to show you just how much more power this has than the Tier 5 because I'm going to run into him. And of course, he pulls forward just before I can fire and blocks my shot. He blows his, I don't blow mine. That's simple. You just wait and make sure the aim is on, and then you fire. And I got to shoot before him. Despite having the same reload, I got to shoot first because my aim time is that much better. Now the rest of this match is spent chasing after an ERC. And again, he stopped just before I fired. And if he hadn't, he would have died to me. But the point is, I got to take that shot because of how quick this gun aims. You will find you are the fastest MBT in the West. Now that Tarfin 2 made the fatal mistake of charging an ERC. The Bagel, however, rectifies this, as our artillery accidentally blows up our own Fox. Whoops. So, yeah, I didn't perform the best in the world, but if you count, I got 2 pins on the WZ, 2 pins on the T-72, a pin on a Chieftain, 2 more pins on another T-72. That's 8 penetrating shots for 450 a pop. So 8 times 4 is 20, 30, over 3,000 damage. Yeah. I'm not actually going to show you guys the stats on this one because I forgot to take pictures. I would have to go recover them from the live stream. I'm kidding. You guys will see the stats very shortly. But in the meantime, if you had a good time, please hit the like button. Seriously. If you'd like to see more stuff by me, Fiaura, you can subscribe. Just go caress that red button gently, sweetly, as though it were a lover. If you'd like to see the previous review, it's right there. It's the Tier 10 PLO1. And remember, we're trying to hit 100 likes on one of these Armored Warfare reviews. Let's see if we can do it. Tell your friends about Fiaura, by the way. Go on your Steam list. I know you have one. I know you do. You're a PC gamer. You have a Steam list. You have a Steam friends list. Pick out a random friend and tell them about my videos. Tell them about Armored Warfare. We need more players in Armored Warfare. Bring in some folks. And if you would like to support the channel, you can do so through Patreon, or you can check out the ad at the end of the video. Lastly, as promised, there is going to be a preview of the next review. It's this tank right here, the Type 82 Chinese Tier 5 main battle tank. So, there's your preview. In the meantime, from my house to yours, this is Fiaura, and I will see all of your lovely faces next time. Bye-bye, everyone.